What's up, fitness fam? Thanks for tuning in again with Fitness Facts with Fred Biggie Smalls, Professor Smalls. Been doing this for 20 years, helping individuals achieve their best physique for a very long time. So hopefully some of the tips and ideas I can share with you today will help you in your endeavor to creating the physique of your dreams. Is overtraining real? Depending on who you talk to, you hear different opinions, but yes, it's absolutely real. Physically, it's not as common as what people think it is, but neurologically, absolutely it's real. Just think about the times when you go into the gym and you're able to do 300 pounds and the next week you go for 310 and you get absolutely smashed by the weight. That is because you're overtrained, neurologically overtrained. Your body has said, it's enough, I need a break. And that's why powerlifters often do deload weeks. They do weeks where they go, 3 weeks hard, and then when they start getting into that intensity range of 90-95% of their maximum, they're not doing that every week because your body can't handle that every week. That is overtraining when you try and do it over and over again and you start to digress instead of progress. So absolutely, it's real. From a neurological standpoint, the only way to combat that is to take deload weeks, take a week where you're taking a step back, using that Kaizen principle where sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to go 1 step forward. You have to sometimes give your mind a break, and then the next week you come back even stronger. So that is how you combat it neurologically. Physically, a lot of times we can prevent overtraining by proper nutrition, making sure that we're getting enough nutrients, we're feeding ourselves through the workouts, making sure that we are taking in more than we are burning will typically prevent overtraining physically. Also, getting enough rest. Are we sleeping enough? Are we taking enough time between our workouts? Are we taking enough time even between sets? All these things make a difference and they will prevent overtraining if you stay ahead of them. So, for instance, if I wake up on a Monday and I'm supposed to go in and do a bunch of chest work, but I feel like I got an ache in my shoulder, I feel like I got this, I got that, I might need to change the way I'm gonna approach my session. So maybe that's the day where I go in and I do more pre-exhaust work, more isolation work, and save the heavy compound lift maybe for the end. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna be as strong, but I can definitely get a great workout and a workout that's gonna get my body to respond positively. And then as long as I eat the right amount of nutrient, get the right amount of rest, I'm still gonna recover, I'm still gonna grow. So the problem with bodybuilders when you think about overtraining is some real classic signs are, I don't wanna train today. Well, we can combat that. Maybe you change the way you train in a different gym, train with a partner. There's so many things to get you remotivated. So I don't think a lot of times with bodybuilding per se, it's overtraining. I think it's lack of motivation. Maybe you change your split. You've always been going in and working legs in the beginning of the week because that's when you're freshest. Well, maybe come in and work arms in the beginning of the week and then the next day do legs. You're not gonna counteract each other because they're 2 separate parts of the body. You're not doing arms, it's not gonna hurt your leg development. Doing legs is not gonna hurt the arms. And then take a day off and then you have all that time before you work your upper body again. I've been preaching this the entire series, not drastic, nothing drastic. Small changes yield big results with the body. Big changes do the opposite. They hurt your progress because your body tries to react too strongly, too harshly to those changes. Small changes yield big, big results. Consistency. So we don't want to be taking, we want to stay ahead of it. You don't want to wait till you're half injured, till you're completely unmotivated, till you don't want to do anything before you say, you know what, maybe this is the week that I need to take a week off. Stay ahead of it, plan it. I'm going to train for 14 weeks, I'm going to take the 15th week off. And then you have something to look forward to. That will keep you motivated. Set goals, In all sports, they have what's called macro cycles of time, where they have a large cycle of time. And within the microcycle, they have mesocycles, where they're looking to make small accomplishment. And within those mesocycles, they have microcycles where you're trying to hit goals so they hit the goal of the mesocycle, which eventually hits the goal of the macrocycles. Set goals for yourself. Don't just say, I want to go in and I want to bench 400 pounds, but you're now benching 215. It's unrealistic. You can't stay consistent that long. But what you can say is in 3 months, I want to do X. I want to put 30 pounds on my bench, and then I'm going to do something else, and then I'm going to come back to that endeavor and plan your cycles out that way. And that way, it's called periodization. That way, you are training with purpose every single time you go to the gym. That's another thing. A lot of times you hear, do I train instinctually? No other sport in the world can you make progress training instinctually, because you have to peak at a certain part of time. So why should it be any different for us? Have a plan and use periodization. Know that for the next 3 weeks I'm gonna do this, but then I'm gonna follow with this 3-week plan, because that's gonna enhance the results I got in the first 3 weeks, rather through I'm gonna train with lower reps here, I'm gonna go to higher reps here, but more volume. And I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna take more rest days, but train super high intensity when we train. That's a good 9 weeks of training that you have scheduled out. You will be excited about approaching each and every workout because you know you have purpose. I gotta get these 3 weeks in because that's gonna optimize what I'm gonna do in the next 3 weeks, which will make it even more productive in the last 3 weeks. Having goals and understanding why you're going in with purpose will eliminate that lull of motivation, that lack of motivation, that thing that keeps us from staying focused and consistent from workout to workout to workout. Also, if we don't have those little goals, sometimes that wavers your nutrition, because again, you don't have those specific goals. So if you go in and just say, I'm gonna train instinctually, and maybe you feel really good that day, but unless you keep a journal or unless you understand, you might be doing substantially less weight than you did 6 months ago. You don't know, because the mind is very prejudiced to what you did the day before, the week before. Certainly doesn't remember what you did 4 or 5 months ago in that moment in time when maybe things weren't optimal. So keeping a journal is very, very important. That's something I think we don't do enough as bodybuilders. I think a lot of times we go in and say, I'm just gonna train. Every successful person in any sport keeps a journal. I know for a fact, every nutrition program I've done since 2009, I haven't done one nutrition program since 2009 without it being documented on paper that I can go back and look at. And I don't really know many champions that don't have it that way. In terms of workouts, every single workout I've done since 2006 is either journaled or at least on a computer, so I see what I was doing. Ideally, you wanna write down how you're feeling, what you're doing, with the weight you're performing, so that you have something to reference. If you're doing bicep curls that day, and you say, man, I don't know what was going on, I end up doing 180 pounds on bicep curls for 10 reps, and you haven't been able to hit that again. If you had a journal, you'd be able to see the ideal environment that you're in that day that allowed that to happen. So instead of just beating your head against the wall and going, how come, how come, how come? If you keep a journal, you'll have facts, you'll have literature to tell you this is why this may have happened, and you'll know how to change things for the positive going forward. Also, if you keep a journal, you'll get an idea how much rest you need. It won't be a guess. You'll know exactly how much rest you need. If you know, for instance, every time you train legs in this particular program, it takes you maybe 2 or 3 more days of rest before you feel good again, then you can manipulate. Maybe you need more food the day before you do that. Maybe you need to add a particular supplement in during that day when you're training. Maybe you need to do that on a day when you're not working so that you have more time to rest and recover after your training. Maybe you need to do that workout earlier. There's so many variables that contribute to success and building physique of your dreams that if you keep a journal and you keep good notes in that journal, you'll have more data to look at and to help you perform to your best ability all the time. To kind of recap, and what we're looking at is this. Yes, neurological overtraining is absolutely real. We see it over and over again. This is why the time-tested approach of deloading as you're hitting those maximum lifts, 90% or above, is absolutely important and instrumental in continued success so that you do not overtrain yourself neurologically and start to regress as opposed to progress. And in terms of physically, overtraining can be real, but we can definitely do things to prevent it, such as proper nutrition, proper rest, proper supplementation, proper placement of your workouts, and periodization in your workout. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this helped you. Hope you understand what we're trying to accomplish here, and I hope these tips help you build your best physique. So thanks for joining in. Like, subscribe to the page, and I appreciate all your support. Leave your comments below.